And the reason I chose that was I wanted the dice to be not medieval, not really gothic, but just ominous. I wanted it to give off that's a spooky vibe, which is what we are getting, which I love. Once we get our master set. Um, for those joining, thank you for joining. I do want to show off the Galaxy dice we made yesterday. So I'm not 100% sold on it. I mean, it's a beautiful die, but I think we could do better. I think that we could do a brighter blue, a more vibrant pink with that purple, along with some black glitter to give off a more midnight sky. But right now, what we're going to do is we are going to continue painting up the Green Goblin. This is what we were working on last night. Before we called it a night. Minner, thank you for joining. Ash, thank you for joining us. We are painting up the Green Goblin right now. Mara, thank you for joining. Once we're done here, well, actually, since we do got that going, we might want to do that now. Minner, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. I'm debating, do I finish up the Green Goblin now, or do I go straight into the resin that we gotta work on? Gabby can wait. The Gabby can wait. Because we're not going to go full, like, I'm not going to paint this up as detailed as I normally would. Because this is just a small plastic figure. I do want to also work with this. So, we got a couple of things we got to work on today. First and foremost, I need my 3. Got that right there. Okay. Got you. And I only need to port up to the 50. So I'm going to also mix up. Oh no, I got it right there. Okay. Do I still got that in my eye? Yeah, I do. Huh. Cool. So I got a cup right here. I'm just going to mix up 50 milliliters of resin, maybe 60 just to be safe. In this. And then we're going to add it. Galbatorix, thank you for joining us. How's Eldest doing? For those that don't know, Galbatorix is the name of the villain from the Inheritance series by, I want to say it's Dave Paolini, or Christopher Paolini. That's what it is. Amazing series. I've read the first 2 books. The third one I began, but had to return it beforehand, before I could finish. And then the 4th one, since I didn't finish the third one, I didn't see a need to start the fourth. How is everybody's weekend going? We're going to mix up some resin real quick. This is what we've gotten so far on Gabi. We've gotten pretty far on him. And we even went further detailed than I even would have with this type of figure. And the reason I say it like that is this is a cheap board game miniature. This is not like a true miniature painting miniature. This is like a plastic Monopoly piece, essentially. But they are fun to paint. So if you do want to do it, I highly recommend it. I've been having a blast with it. I mean, not only do we got the Green Goblin, we have one of my favorite superheroes, Ant-Man. And when I first got this, I'm like, oh, cool. He's pulling up a storm grate. He's on a quarter. But no, we are going to be doing some experimenting today. Because not only do we have this to do, I also have another one that I want to look into about us making. Now, I don't know how much resin this is going to take. Based on the proportions, it should be the same amount as, or a little bit more than this. Based on the proportions of what I read, that does not mean that that is exactly true. So if I go here, I'm going to type in yeah, so almost 220 milliliters is what I'm going to need in resin alone to fill that. Now it's going to be a fun mold. And here's why I say it's going to be a fun mold. It's a dragon egg. So Galbatorix, I know you're wanting this. Because that's what the whole series is about. Dragons. We have dragon eggs now that we can make and sell. I'm also waiting for a response from a person interested in a commission on what D4 they want, but they are wanting a strawberry lemonade. That is the first one we have sold of strawberry lemonade. Which I don't blame them. It's a very, very pretty color. It's not one of the colors that I would have personally chosen for my personal set, but that's just me. I'm more into the macabre in a way. Okay. So now I'm going to pour it into this dice mold. Now, we've seen it with the pendant. We've seen it with the traditional, but we haven't seen how this looks with the barrel. So I'm going to pour about half or more until up, and I went too far over. Cool. Did a little too much there. We'll do an extra D4. No problem there. That's why we mixed up a little bit extra. Once we start making our own molds, that's where the fun really is going to begin. First and foremost, I need to get alcohol inks out. So we're going to do a lighter blue. What I'm thinking is instead of that midnight blue like we used, either a sapphire blue, but I also want to do the dark orchid. Wait, we used purplish red last time. That worked really well. So we need rose. Rose is what I'm looking for. So for those watching, we need rose. And we need sapphire blue. I needed the orchid also. Sapphire blue. I wish these were like placed in a certain order so that I could see what's where. Or if like there was like a way to identify them without pulling them from the top. Rose. So these are the three we're going to use to make our new Nebula dice. Okay. Before we do anything, you always want to think about PPE. So we're going to get ours on now. Don't want that to dry out. Because once we're done mixing this and the next one, that's when we're going to continue with the miniature painting. Okay. And I want to thank everybody that is watching and is enjoying the journey we're taking. Our whole goal is to educate, assist, and help you all grow. Now, I am seeing some comments are being filtered. I do want to remind everyone that this is a PG-13 to PG live, PG to PG-13 live. So all comments that are derogatory will be automatically removed by the algorithm. So I can't see what you're saying, but don't do it again. I did not. That might have been what was flagged. Let me see. Yeah, Turner Dust, I did not see your question. All I see from you is hello, so that's probably what was flagged. The black and my darkest blue. Okay. So I see how that could have gotten flagged by the algorithm. The algorithm probably thought it was more of a race-based question when it wasn't even related to that. So my darkest blue is midnight blue. And that is, let me pull it out here. What we used on our first set of bullet dice. There we go. And that's what it was. That's our darkest blue. Now, if I add more, depending on how much I add to that, how much alcohol ink I add to it, I can make that darker or lighter. But this is about what it's going to look like. That's going to, ooh, I saw that pulling down. I'm like, nope. So that's what that's going to eventually look like. And here's what we're going to do differently than last time. Last time we used alcohol ink to get the black coloring. We went to Walmart and we got this beautiful glitter. So I'm just going to take some of this glitter. I want to add it to our initial mixture. And get this beautiful glitter effect. Ooh, did not want to pour it. We might add a little bit more glitter to it. This is extra fine glitter as well. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That looks like, I mean, I can even go probably one more scoop, a little bit of a scoop in. Okay. And this will be what we top it off with. Hopefully it doesn't sink to the very bottom. But I think I have a way to prevent it from sinking from what I've watched somebody else do. But let me grab the camera and show you guys. This color. That's what we're looking at for our black. Okay. So now, what I need to do, blue and black Petri type pour. So we've done that before. It didn't turn out the way we needed it to because it didn't it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but not because of the fact that the pour itself doesn't work. More so because the way we did the Petri, we didn't do it properly. When you do Petri, you got to do it a specific way. If you fail to do it that way, it's going to mess up. Now what we're doing is similar to the fire. Yeah, after I get my master's in, I can definitely try to see about doing a black and blue Petri again. We really want to master Petri first. The best way to do that would be after I get a pressure pot. Because you want it to look a specific way. And the pressure pot's the best way to do that. Muppa 3K or 3D, thank you for joining us. We are making another round of nebula dice. Ugh. I just really like the nebula effect, and I don't like the cheap way that people are doing the nebula effect either. So the cheap way they're doing it is by taking cellophane, just basic cellophane that you get for like wrapping food up, and realizing that it's got a reflective surface when crumpled up. And when they use that reflective surface, what they're doing is they're taking that surface, they're mixing it in, and then they're taking that, putting it into clear stuff, and then pouring black, blue, and purple on top, and then calling it the nebula because the cellophane reflects all that into the swirl. Whereas what I'm doing, it takes more time because I have to wait for everything to start to honey up and get where it needs to be ink-wise. But I think it's a little bit better of a technique as well. The one downside to this style is I cannot batch pour. So what do I mean by batch pour? So essentially what I could be doing with this is that every time I fill this up, it's going to have some resin in it. Yes, your dice should be there tomorrow. That is what it's showing on the USPS when I looked last. I keep track of your guys' shipments as well. Which is honestly peculiar, seeing how I ordered something from I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dice Worm. He's a YouTuber and a content creator as well. Who also makes dice. I ordered some mold creating tools off of his website, which is how we're going to create our molds. Now, you're 3 states away. Now, here's the thing. You're 3 states away from me. You're in Mississippi. I'm in Missouri. I am literally in the same state as this person, and it's taking till Wednesday to get my package from USPS. Make that make sense. Midnight Ghoul, who's in Vegas. Completely opposite side of the country than I'm right in the middle. You guys are on, he's on the opposite side of me. His tracking is showing Tuesday at the latest, but, and this is exactly what it says, but projected for Monday. Well, like, I'm not too worried about it being lost because USPS is pretty good on making sure stuff like that doesn't happen. From my experience with them. Which is why I use them. The bigger issue that I was having was solely with how they're saying that somebody in the same state as me, just on the opposite end of the state, is showing that they shipped me something and it'll be here on Wednesday. But you guys, I ship you your stuff and it's going to be here within a few days. Oof. Yeah, that one I would verify. Did it go through USPS? Did it go through UPS? Like, how did it actually ship if you're waiting that long still? Okay, that looks beautiful. Gotcha. Yep. Sometimes it can take a while, but like I said, most of the time from what I've seen, I've had really good experience with USPS, which is why I use them. I was more worried about the packaging I was using because I shipped them via the because I've been waiting for since like the beginning of the month for my small boxes, and they still have not came. So with it not coming, I chose to use the I chose to get the I chose to use my um, envelopes that I have. Now I was a little worried about using these envelopes because there's two different kinds of envelopes the USPS have. One is for priority 2-day shipping, which is $35 to ship. And the other is UPS Ground, which is about $11 to ship. So I was sitting here freaking out thinking that I had the $35 one. So I take both packages in yesterday, ready for them to ship. And I'm like, before I even place this, what is the shipping cost on these packages? They looked and go, oh, you got the $10 one. I'm like, okay, good. Your website isn't very clear. And they're like, no, we know, we hate that it's not clear as well. I'm just glad strawberry lemonade's getting some love. I made it. I don't even love it. Corey, thank you for joining us. We are about to finish pouring our dice. So, this is how the original Nebula came out. And then I got more in bags over there. And we're doing a repour with glitter instead. Now, depending on how this pour turns out, this might be the new Nebula. I'll have to look to see how both of them look side by side. But I mean, it's not much of a difference. It's more so going to have a black glitter on the faces, specifically that one face. Okay. So let me move this real quick. Oh, I could. That is an option. Nebula 1, Nebula 2. I do see a bubble forming right there, though. Now, what I'm hoping happens with this is that the glitter pulls up. And what I mean by pulls up is that it doesn't push all the coloring down, but the glitter sinks. So throughout the nebula, you have little shards of the glitter bouncing light off. That's what I'm hoping happens. Because I mean, I was literally walking by and I saw it. And I'm like, that looks like stars. I need that. So we're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. I got to see if we have enough resin, first off, with what we have in here. So I got to make 220, so that means I got to make 110 of resin. So we'll probably do 125, do an extra, and then we can pour what's remaining into another pot. Now that used up almost, if not all of that resin, which is good. That's why I wanted it to happen. Okay. So 225 or 125 plus 125 is 250. So what I'm hoping, that's why I put a little bit more glitter than what I really wanted in the mixture, because like you can even still see it on the bottom. We're going to do our squishy squish mold. Oh, yeah, that's going to look beautiful. Oh, that's going to look beautiful. I do want to put a little bit of weight on it because that D6 and one of the percentiles is not, because we have a little bit of that air pocket from not pouring into the D4. We have to put a little bit more weight on it to secure. Now, what color of Dragon Egg are we making? I want somebody to give me an answer. Come on, anybody. Colored dragon egg. Somebody give me a color. Any color. Orange or red. Translucent or opaque. Translucent or opaque. Anybody. Translucent or opaque. Opaque. Okay. So let's pull out. That didn't sound good. Bear with me for a sec. DM's Tavern, thank you for joining us. We are putting up some alcohol links real quick. Bear with us. We are going to continue working. We are making what we call the Dragon's Nest. The Dragon's Nest is a dice box that we are going to be making and selling. Now, we have not thought of a price. However, with how much resin it takes, we are looking at about $30 to $35 with how much resin it takes. Right now, with a magnetized dice box and dice, we are selling those for $31, but the resin is less. That is the sole reason why we have dice boxes like the big one being so much. Okay. Okay. Turn to Dust, Shimmer Red, Bright Red, Firework Red, Bright Red, Mauve, or Orange. Anybody. Firework, okay. Just so you know, Firework is what comes out looking like strawberry lemonade. But we're going to add to it. And you might be thinking, well, what are we going to add to it with? Can't be a dragon egg without some shiny bits. New T, thank you for joining us.
Bye, Daddy.
I do want to thank everybody that is joining us right now. Okay. I think 3 scoops. Let's start with 1.5. Sometimes this stuff is powerful. Sometimes it's a little bit more opaque than I want it. Okay. Now while that's sitting there, I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm going to brush on some mica powder onto the inside of these crystals. As well. What that should do is it should give off that color mica powder with a mixture of what we've poured. So think of a small red purple. Jonathan, thank you for joining us. Marlon, thank you for joining. We are going to brush on some of this mica powder. Now, when you use mica powder, please, everybody, I know I'm not doing it. You're speaking to somebody who's worked in and around different types of plastic and carcinogens for almost 88% of his adult life. Like, I used to be a brick mason. I was literally carving out mortar without a respirator. Please, when you're doing this, if you ever choose to do this, to use a respirator. That is not an option. That is not a suggestion. That is for your safety. And the only reason why I don't is because I'm so used to it by now that it doesn't even faze me. But seriously, use... Where'd the lid go now? Gotta be very careful with that now. Because I don't know where I put the lid to it. Oh, put it right on top. And I'm especially talking to the little ones. The ones that are watching right now thinking, oh, that's so cool. He's making dice. He's making a dragon mold. Please, if you're going to do this and you're under the age of 13, ask your parents first. Make sure they're watching my content and make sure that they're getting the warnings that they need to know. As a parent myself, I would hate if my little one came to me and said, Dad, can I make this? And I started watching and realizing, yeah, I mean, it's just dice, and that's my mindset behind it. And then I realized, oh, well, this can be potentially dangerous if not done properly. That's something not a lot of people realize, is that it can be dangerous. And yes, we are adding some of that black glitter into it. What was the other glitter that I got? You know what? Yeah, that'd be a nice little spark of color as well. some Caribbean. But once again, seriously, parents, teachers, anybody that's watching this and trying to get ideas for a fun little project with your kiddos, take my advice. It's not worth your child potentially developing lung problems later on in life. It's not, I mean, that's the big reason why, like, when I'm doing this, you don't see my son in the room with me. You don't see really anyone that I wouldn't, like, I'm putting my own health at risk here, not anybody else's, is what I'm trying to say. And that's what technically should be going on. Doesn't always work that way, but should. But let's get to pouring. And I said pouring, not the other thing. Get your minds out of the gutters. Basing this solely off what I have already poured, this is going to look beautiful. The one issue I think we're going to run into is I'm a little worried that was only for, and yeah, that sucks. Let me see if I can. Oh, that sucks. Okay. So I'll pour a little bit in here, as much as I can. We're going to have to mix up a little bit more. So I'm going to try to do about 100, see if I can get 50 out of this one. Because that should be all we need left. (1988) Norway, thank you for joining us. Come on. Come on. I would say it's using a little bit less than the big one. The big one is literally a fourth of my like one resin mixture. That's good enough. If I gotta use a little bit extra hardener, all that's gonna do is make it harder. What are we doing today? We are making a couple new molds. And then we are making a new dice idea for the business. And we are also getting hit with the why are you not verifying me? There we go. So we're making a new mold. For our newest dice box, which is the Dragon Egg. Now that we know that it's a little bit more than what it calls for, we can at least get that mix up. The downside for this, I mean, we got glitter in it, so we don't have to add a little bit more of that. The downside is we got to add more colorant, though. And it's going to look off because it's not matching 1-to-1. But yeah, I mean, it's close to the big one. I wouldn't say it's the same size as the big one. It's bigger than our other dice boxes. So we are, and we're going to call it here, $35 is what it will cost to get the Dragon Egg. Or as we call it, the Dragon's Nest. And we are going to showcase that tomorrow, or even possibly later today if we can get it to showcase. But I am in love with these Walmart glitters to the point where I'm just going to keep buying from them. Because it's $3 for this. I'm not going to use all this in 1 year. Okay, let's pour the rest. Are you kidding me? Even that's not enough? Like, do I gotta pull out my new resin just to even fill this up? Bear with me, everyone. So yeah, $35 for sure. Because so far, I don't think it's as much as the big one. Well, hang on. We did 210 plus another 100. So, you know what? We are at the big one. 38. This would be $38. Oh, they actually started packaging that. That's cool. Before they weren't packaging any glitter like that. All the glitter and foil was loose. Red Star, thank you for joining us. I am A-okay, a little bit concerned, but nothing too much bad. It is literally drinking it up. But yes, we went from $30 for this to $35. To 38 quicker than I would have expected. What I'm doing is I'm making this at 100. That's empty. I don't know why I still got that up there. That can go in the trash. Like, that's the part I hate with these two-part boxes. One part's like, oh, it's only 7.4 fluid ounces. And then I mix up for 7.4. And it's right. It's 7.4 for one half. The other half is still the full amount. Or has its own amount, but it doesn't have any label on it showing how much it actually is. Right, and it wasn't even that it was an issue, Red Star. Like, I don't know if you've ever used the Let's Resin Dragon Egg mold. That's what this is. It literally says on the mold, 7.4 ounces. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit bigger than my Dagger box. My Dagger box took 200 to 220 milliliters of resin. So I could just do 220 and call it a day, or 250, call it a day. Mix up 250, pour it in. It got the big part. The lid didn't even make a dent. I'm like, oh no. So now I got to mix up more resin to finish the lid. So the lid's going to be like multicolored. But yeah, this took a grand total of almost $450, which I think is exactly at the big one. So yeah, this is going to be $38 for sale when we sell it. For sure. I'm not recouping. I'm not going to be on the hook for this. Bear with me while I get a drink. Oh. Resin is fun. You got to know what PPE to use. I should be wearing a respirator technically. But I mean, like I've said, I've been a brick mason. I've been a tuck pointer. I've worked in plastic factories. I've worked in paint factories. Never once wore a respirator except for whenever I was cutting out mortar joints. And that's only because I live in St. Louis. And we have a lot of old buildings. A lot of those old buildings have a fun little chemical in them that made it to where anything they touch, they gave you cancer. Yeah, and even then, you don't even, it depends on what you're doing. If you're in a well ventilated area, you don't need it. Like, take me, I'm right next to a window. I could open that up for exactly asbestos. You knew exactly what I was talking about. But no, I think this is going to turn out really beautiful. Because we got that black, we got that cerulean blue going on the dragon egg as well. We take it pretty seriously here in America too. But like, yeah, and like I was saying, we take it seriously here in America too, to where we actually have OSHA as well, just like you guys do. It's just different standard. But it's to the point where we could literally, like personal stuff. Like if I wanted to, I could take my aerosol cans, start spraying in here. That shouldn't affect it at all. Bear with me, everyone. I'm so mad right now. Turn to desk. Guess what I just found? The total amount it takes to fill the entire mold. And I'm pretty sure it's bigger than the big one. Well, so it's written on the lid. Like, here, I can show you. Bear with me. So, that's where it's written. You know, the last place anybody in the world would ever think to look. Whereas that one's written right there. I'll have to do the math to verify the big one. Let me double check. So we have where is so this right here is 8.2 fluid ounces. And yes, this is after cleaning the big one. The big one is a nightmare to clean. Like, I would almost rather buy multiple of it and then just toss it once made. So this right here is 8.2. This one is 4.9. So let's do that math real quick. Calculator. Where the heck is a calculator when I need it? Right there. Okay. $8.2 plus so this is 13.1. That's 13.8. With it being that close, I'm not going to do a price increase on that, but we are going to match it. So, the Dragon's Nest will be marked once we reveal it, hopefully tomorrow. Well, Chiefs, obviously. If the Eagles had a player that I was even remotely interested in, or was like an underdog story similar to the Vince Papale storyline they had going for them in the 80s or 70s, then maybe the Eagles. But as of right now, no. I'm going for the Chiefs. There are state there are states team. So that's what I gotta go for. But I'm really excited to see how that turns out. So yeah, 38 is what the Dragon's Nest is going to go for as well. I could technically bump it up to 40. I'm not going to. The only way that I would do it for 40 or more is if it was like a couple fluid ounces more. I mean, that's only a 2.2% difference. So, I mean, it's really not even worth the hassle of trying to justify increasing it. Now, Tori, I will be honest. I don't watch football no more. Ever since we got rid of the Rams, I stopped watching, and then I started noticing a lot of different cues and a lot of different things that were going on within the NFL. And I'm like, something's a little fishy there. Oh, great. Now my son's got his Spider-Man show stuck in my head. On great heights, we can spin up tight. Ugh. I have not looked at anybody's stories yet today, so if it's on your story, I have not. And I don't see a message on Discord from you, so I have not seen it yet. As soon as I get off the live, I will definitely take a look, though. I'm wanting to know where everybody else is. I mean, it is Super Bowl Sunday. I guess a lot of people are getting ready to celebrate with the Super Bowl. Me, I'm more of a Stanley Cup kind of guy. It's been a couple of days. Lucky, I literally woke up at 4:30 in the morning and heard the theme song playing in the background. I'm like, how is he already up? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great show. Like I said, Little Man loves it. I think it's a good show as well because it does teach good values. What's up, Matt? We just made. Here, I'll show you real quick. So we got a new way we're doing our Nebula dice in there. A new mold for our dice boxes that we are calling the Dragon's Nest. And now we are painting up the Green Goblin. See, he's got the Disney Plus on his TV. So if it's not playing Toy Story, I know exactly what it's playing. It's always going to be playing that. Yeah, but your kids are also a lot older than ours, Matt. I mean, this shows my kid's age. I show him this, and he goes, "Oh, you got Gobby." Yeah, mine's 4. Not even 4. He'll be 4 this year. Like, he was so excited. Yes, my kid loves Bluey. If I could do. I think you posted it, Matt. There or reposted it, one of the two. Somebody made a Bluey Space Marine. Like, they took a Bluey model, chopped the head off of it, and stuck it on a Space Marine. Mama Scarecrow, thank you for joining us. Eat, Paint, Sleep, thank you for watching. Dude, Bluey is an amazing show. I don't care how old you are. Bluey was not made for kids. I will die on that hill. Bluey was made for us parents who feel like we are not doing enough, who feel like we could be better, but we don't know how to be better because we feel like we are just letting our kids down. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Matt. You might want to clarify. Oh, from Kiwi Land. No, we don't accept Kiwi Land here. Nah, I'm messing with him. Sleep. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while since you've actually been on one of my lives. We're just painting up the Green Goblin. I'm not a big fan of the chibi style, but I can't deny that this is a fun figure to paint. Now, oh, you're talking about like Winton and the Terrier's parents. Yeah, I see what you're talking about now. Oh, there's others? I didn't even notice. Like I knew like Judo's mom is a complete and total B word. I did not. I did not back the Kickstarter. However, it's funny you mentioned that. From my understanding, this is either a Kickstarter exclusive or a it's on the tip of my tongue. Kickstarter exclusive or a convention exclusive. But I got it with my set. Doctor Strange. No, I literally bought these off Amazon. I was sitting there and I was looking at different stuff for miniature painting. And I was looking primarily at Marvel because I wanted Lil Scarecrow to start getting into miniature painting, but not be like full blown, you're gonna do this, you're gonna watch me paint this, stuff like that. And yeah, I could have done full blown what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. I could have done full blown Crisis Protocol. However, I chose to grab the Marvel United for one reason only. I want to work on. Now, I screwed up, I'll admit, on several of these. Because I'm basing them off their cards. So, like this. And here's where I screwed up. I highlighted the wrong way. I should have done it upside down. But I didn't think to prime it for that reasoning until after I'd already gotten it going. Well, see, my biggest issue with MCP is it is so expensive. Like, there's no reason in my honest mind that for 4 figures I should be paying $50. So I mean, Warhammer, I can at least see some justification for, because Warhammer's the only one that has rights to like those types of monsters and figures. There's at least 3 that I know of for Marvel alone. You got Zombicide, you have United, and you have Crisis Protocol. It's getting ridiculous how expensive some of these are getting. Like, I would love, and this is just me. I like I've said before, I'm not a Marvel fan at all. I like some of the characters. I mean, like, Ant-Man's one of my favorite characters of all time. But I'm not going to sit there and sugarcoat it when I'm like, yeah, Marvel's Marvel. I could live without them because my favorite character, my favorite superhero of all time is actually in DC. And that's Green Arrow. Now, one thing I want to do more is more DC related figures. However, there's only 2 games for it. The Batman game and the Deceased expansion pack. I don't want the Deceased expansion pack. I'm not a big zombie lover. So I hate that they're limiting me. Shatterpoint's really cool. So Shatterpoint is actually more closely related to Kill Team because it's supposed to be just a scrimmage match. I would prefer Legion. However, even Legion is abundantly expensive. Like, I don't understand where they're justifying these prices for plastic. But we keep eating it up. I guess their justification is they're still going to buy it. Yeah, I'm not a fan that X-Wing lost support either. Because I was literally about to get into X-Wing and Armada. And I'm like, really? You guys are just gonna like I'm tired of them gutting games. Like, oh, this didn't sell, gut it. This didn't sell, gut it. This didn't sell, gut it. Like, if you're going to gut it, but relaunch it, as a new addition, that's one thing. See, like my big thing is like I started from D&D. So if any of you have ever played D&D or bought a figure for D&D, you'll know that they're fairly cheap. Honestly, once they all went to Atomic Mass Games, I about said screw it and stopped even supporting them in any capacity. Not because of what AMG like represents, but because of the fact that I can't sit there and think of a reason why a company would justify raising prices for something that they just acquired. So AMG gave a reasoning of why. So they went to the biggest game stores in America to justify keeping the ship games going. So it wasn't the licensing bundle. It was that they literally went to like each different game store in America to see what games were actually being played at them. Now remember, Armada and X-Wing were already seriously unknown. So right there, they shot themselves in the foot. Because they decided to go from one state to the next and be like, okay, this store had 3 people playing Armada, this store had 4, this store had 1, yada, 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 yada. This store had X people playing X-Wing, and so on and so forth. And that's where their justification for closing down X-Wing and Armada was that there was no player base. When in reality, their player base for it wasn't in the States. I'm trying to get I don't know why my yellow is not sticking to that. I try to put some orange on there first. Even my orange is like too light for it. Or it just didn't get enough. No, it had to have gotten primer. Otherwise, it would have been red there. Oh. Oh. Ah, crap. I didn't hit right there. I'm really wanting to see what that looks like. Like, I know I'm getting giddy over here like a little schoolgirl, but the new dice box we're going to be selling is going to be awesome. I said hey to you, I said hey to you, Dragon. I'm pretty sure, anyway. So So that's the new dice box we're working on. And we're redoing our Nebula dice. Our Nebula dice look like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure as soon as I saw you pop in, I said hi. You have a good one, Eat, Pain, Sleep. Thank you for supporting us. And I appreciate you hopping in for a bit. Ow, what, Dragon? Yeah, I really can't wait for that either. That one will be 38 when we start to sell it. The only reason is because that uses more resin than the big one. Yep. It uses more resin, holds less dice though. That I will say. We have verified it will only hold about 2 sets, maybe 3. But the reason it costs or it has more resin is because the base is a lot wider. But I have to justify that price point because it needs to be made clear. So I think all we have left, we got a couple of his leg. We got one part of his leg that we didn't get painted yesterday. I can quickly paint up now. And Mama Scarecrow, if you are still there, I really highly recommend you turn the camera over to Little Man so he can see what we got going on. So the reason I said that is because the Green Goblin is Little Scarecrow's favorite supervillain. And now all we got is those rocks, the smoke, which I'm going to do as a yellow glaze. I was debating, do I do yellow? Do I do green? What do I do? I think we're going to do a yellow glaze. Then I need the dark stone, which is... Just saw it. Well, this is empty. I got no more uniform gray. I thought I just saw it. It must be in a bag up here. Ooh, that almost didn't. Okay. Oh, I gotta do his teeth too. You have a good one, Turner Dust. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, once we finish the goblin here, we might start another one. But I think we gotta decide which one we want to start. Victoria, thank you for joining us. And there we have it. Spot right there. I just gotta wait for that base to dry. And then we can throw on the wash for the whole figure. We're going to start with a flesh wash, though, for the skin. Okay, just do the teeth now, and then what did I do? I did not, so I gotta do those too. Glad I caught myself there. Oh, I hope everybody is having a great weekend. With that, we are nearly done. Okay. And there we have the Green Goblin. Okay. Now we gotta pick out the next figure. So I have Miles Morales. I have Spider-Man. I have Ghost Spider. Doctor Strange. Ant-Man. The Wasp. The Hulk. Actually, we got the palette for the Hulk already out. We might as well do it. I just need to get a darker green, I feel like. So that might be our next one, but we have Red Skull. Captain America. Captain Marvel. Ultron. Taskmaster. And last but not least, Iron Man. Oh. So now I gotta decide on what figure I want to do next. We might do Hulk. Hulk would be pretty simple to do. But we're also trying to make it match up with the game's art style, which is kind of chibi, kind of animated cartoony, like that's the box art for him. So like obviously it's supposed to be like Tom Holland Spider-Man because it's black webbing instead of silver. Now, this is the rule book. That's just to understand how to play the game. And I'll be fully honest. I've read the rule book. I don't understand how to play the game. So I don't understand how they expect people to understand how to play the game. But now we gotta pick out. Oh. Because like each villain comes with their own little card and what they do. Now what I'm going to do with Red Skull is because his back is completely empty. Like there's nothing even carved into it. Is I'm going to do the Hydra logo. It only makes sense. He is the leader of Hydra. He's the founder of Hydra. What the heck is that purple dye in here for? Maybe just keep that in place. Oh, wait, no, that's a mini Tesseract. What the heck? Is that like a mission or objective or something I missed? Oh, it's a villain tracker. But no, you can get this on Amazon for $30. Everything I just showed you. You get an expansion, you get the actual game, or you get the core set. And that's the card we're going to base it off of. Now, obviously, we're going to do the purple pants. We can't not do the purple pants. To not do the purple pants would be an injustice to... Okay, so we got an idea of how we're going to do this. We will start on that. More than likely later tonight, because we are going to call the live here. We've been going for almost 2 hours. And I have to go use the restroom. But yeah, we will definitely continue with this later tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining. And thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.